Only Beyoncé could spark conversation like this, launching a Valentine's Day choker named Bodyguard right when the internet is already side-eyeing her close bond with her longtime protector, Julius Bohr. The timing alone was enough to send fans spiraling, reigniting whispers about whether their relationship is strictly professional or something more. But the chatter didn't stop there. Allegedly, Julius has grown so close to Beyoncé that he's become unusually open, perhaps too open, about her personal life. Rumor has it he's been discussing intimate details about her family, including sensitive claims surrounding young Sir Carter's health. This speculation isn't new. For years, fans have questioned why Sir is rarely seen in public, especially compared to his siblings. Blue Ivy is frequently in the spotlight, and Rumi even made a surprise appearance during Beyoncé's tour, yet Sir was noticeably absent once again. That absence alone has fueled countless theories online. Some viewers went further, claiming they noticed Rumi displaying certain behaviors during her appearance, leading to unverified assumptions about her health. From there, speculation escalated, with some suggesting that Sir's condition might be more severe, hence his continued absence from public view. Amid all this noise, the family has tried to gently redirect the narrative. Tina Knowles, Beyoncé's mother and the children's grandmother, has spoken out in hopes of putting these rumors to rest. She described Blue Ivy as a natural-born leader, confident, talented, and just beginning to show the world what she's capable of. As for Rumi, Tina shared that she's creatively inclined, much like her parents and big sister, with a strong artistic spirit of her own. When it comes to Sir, Tina offered a softer, more personal explanation. Rather than feeding into speculation, she highlighted his personality, suggesting that his absence isn't rooted in mystery or concern, but simply in who he is. Quiet, reserved, and different from his siblings, Sir prefers a life away from the spotlight. In the end, what the public sees, or doesn't see, doesn't always tell the full story. And sometimes, privacy isn't a secret, it's just a choice. Tina didn't shy away from describing Sir's personality either. She explained that he's naturally reserved, more drawn to numbers and logic than fashion or the spotlight. While his sisters gravitate toward creativity and performance, Sir prefers quieter interests and keeps largely to himself. Matthew echoed that sentiment in his own way. He spoke warmly about all three grandchildren, saying Blue Ivy reminds him so much of Beyoncé in both presence and confidence. Sir, on the other hand, is happiest in his own little world, while Rumi gives him Solange vibes with her unique energy and artistic spirit. Yet despite both grandparents offering these personal insights, speculation hasn't slowed. Many followers remain convinced that something deeper is going on, especially when it comes to Sir. What is publicly known is that Beyoncé's pregnancy with the twins was anything but smooth. When it came time to give birth, she experienced serious complications linked to preeclampsia, a condition that placed both her life and the baby's lives at risk. The situation escalated quickly, forcing doctors to perform an emergency C-section. Beyoncé has since spoken openly about how traumatic that experience was, describing it as one of the most physically demanding moments of her life. She revealed that she weighed just over 218 pounds at the time of delivery and had been battling dangerously high blood pressure throughout the pregnancy. During labor, one of the twins' heartbeats reportedly stopped multiple times, another factor that made the surgery unavoidable. Although she never publicly identified which twin experienced those complications, rumors have long pointed to Sir. From there, theories grew that the early medical distress may have impacted his development. For years, some fans have speculated that Sir could be on the autism spectrum. There has never been confirmation from his parents, but that hasn't stopped online observers from dissecting every glimpse of him they can find. Some claim that moments in Beyoncé's Renaissance film hinted at certain behaviors, while others went as far as compiling lists of traits they believe he displays, things like repetitive movements, sensitivity to light, or subtle physical patterns. A few listeners even searched for meaning in Beyoncé's music itself. One song, My Rose, in particular, has been interpreted by some as a deeply personal message, possibly directed at a child navigating unseen challenges. The lyrics speak of self-acceptance, resilience, and unconditional love, which only added fuel to the speculation. These conversations refuse to fade, partly because they haven't been limited to fans alone. Other public figures have jumped into the discussion, sometimes harshly. One artist accused Beyoncé of hiding her son and suggested she was ashamed, while another went even further, launching an unprovoked online rant questioning the twins' intelligence and even implying their conception involved IVF. Those comments didn't last long before being deleted, but the damage was already done. The backlash was swift and intense. Beyoncé's supporters defended her fiercely, and Tina Knowles stepped in, condemning the remarks as cruel, ignorant, and outright evil. Matthew Knowles also responded, bluntly stating that reckless words come with consequences and hinting that the person responsible might need to reflect on their own mental health. More recently, another reality star added her voice, suggesting that people simply want Beyoncé to acknowledge the rumors. She implied that if Sir does have a condition, speaking openly could help break stigmas and offer support to families facing similar realities. Now, the narrative has taken yet another turn. There are whispers that someone from Beyoncé's inner circle, her longtime bodyguard, may be sharing private information about Sir's alleged health issues. Whether that's accidental oversharing or something more calculated is unclear, but it's raised eyebrows given just how close he and Beyoncé are believed to be. For years, rumors have circulated that their relationship crossed professional boundaries. At one point, claims surfaced that Beyoncé had moved in with him or planned to leave with him altogether. Others pointed to photos that felt a little too intimate for comfort, including one where he was seen leaving a hotel behind her with what appeared to be lipstick on his lips. Allegedly, Jay-Z wasn't blind to the tension. Sources claimed he once wanted the bodyguard fired but was shut down immediately, with Beyoncé insisting he wasn't going anywhere. Speculation intensified again when Beyoncé released a song in 2024 titled Bodyguard. The lyrics struck many listeners as deeply personal, sparking theories that it was inspired by her longtime protector. When she later unveiled a Valentine's Day choker bearing the same name, fans took it as yet another breadcrumb. To make matters even more intriguing, earlier rumors suggested that during a period of extreme exhaustion, mentally, physically, and emotionally, it was this same bodyguard who had been by Beyoncé's side, supporting her as she questioned whether she wanted to continue living life at the relentless pace she's maintained for decades. Whether coincidence, symbolism, or something more, the timing of it all has left the internet buzzing, and once again, asking questions no one close to the situation seems eager to answer. But the truth, according to the whispers that refuse to die down, is that she hasn't been allowed to slow down, even when she wanted to. That detail keeps resurfacing in every hushed theory, every awkward pause fans replay, every moment where something just feels off. Allegedly, she never planned to tour like this. Not at this pace. Not with a schedule so punishing it left no room for recovery, reflection, or rest. The claim is that she didn't step back onto the road out of passion or ego, but for two very specific reasons, neither of them glamorous. The first was money, but not in the way critics like to frame it. This wasn't about excess or indulgence. It was strategic. Almost urgent. The goal, according to those close to the narrative, was to reach a very exact financial threshold, one that would finally allow her to reclaim control over her life. Not to negotiate freedom, but to purchase it outright. To reach a point where no one could tell her she needed to keep going. The second reason was pressure. Relentless, unavoidable pressure. From family. From advisors. From business partners. From an industry that thrives on momentum and doesn't care how tired the engine is, as long as it still runs. The message was simple: work now, while the demand is still sky high. Cash in while the machine is still printing. Because once you step off, there's no guarantee you'll be allowed back on your own terms. That pressure, if you believe this version of events, suddenly makes a lot of things click into place. The ticket prices that shocked even loyal fans. The overwhelming wave of new ventures, brands, deals, partnerships, rolling out one after another with almost no pause. The calculated investments. The quiet real estate purchases, including properties outside the US that only came to light through public filings and insider murmurs. To people who buy into this theory, none of it looked impulsive. It looked deliberate. Like someone organizing an exit. Like someone building a safety net strong enough to finally let go. But here's where the narrative shifts, away from contracts and numbers, and into something far more human. According to these same alleged sources, the real driving force wasn't financial at all. It was her son. Sir. Behind the immaculate performances and ironclad image, they say, was a mother growing increasingly concerned, increasingly emotionally present, and increasingly unwilling to let her career eclipse her child's needs. The belief is that Sir required more attention, more stability, more consistency, and that she had reached a point where accolades and records no longer felt like fair trade-offs. In that light, the tour wasn't about legacy. It was about closure. A final sprint toward security. One last push to create enough space, financially and professionally, to slow down and be fully there where it mattered most. And that's where Julius enters the story in a way no one expected, but everyone seems fixated on. According to speculation, he wasn't just fulfilling the role of a bodyguard. He wasn't merely standing watch. People who subscribe to this theory believe he was a grounding presence, someone who understood the emotional undercurrent of what was happening and quietly stayed close because of it. Fans claim that if you rewatch certain moments with this perspective, you can't unsee it. The way his attention lingers. The way his posture subtly changes when she appears drained. The way he positions himself, not just defensively, but attentively, like someone checking in without ever saying a word. Some even argue that there are moments where he appears more concerned than alert, more emotionally invested than professionally distant. None of it has been confirmed, of course. It all lives squarely in speculation. But in a culture that believes nothing at that level happens by accident, people continue to dissect every frame. Then came the Grammys. On paper, it was another historic night. Another milestone. Another trophy added to a career that already defies comparison. But for those watching closely, something felt different. When her album was announced as Album of the Year, Julia stood up immediately from behind her table. That alone raised eyebrows. Security is trained to remain controlled, invisible, detached. Yet in that moment, instinct seemed to override training. Word spread quickly that he had broken character. That he reacted emotionally. That he looked relieved, almost overwhelmed, rather than politely celebratory. Some brushed it off as pride. Others weren't so sure. They pointed out how quickly he prepared to move, how intently he focused on her rather than the room, how his expression didn't match the polished spectacle expected on that stage. To those inclined toward deeper meaning, it looked like the reaction of someone who understood the stakes behind that win. From there, the dots began connecting themselves. The exhaustion. The tour. The business surge. The property purchases. The alleged desire to step back and center her children, especially Sir. In this narrative, the Grammy wasn't just validation. It was leverage. Proof. The final piece that made it impossible for anyone to argue that she hadn't done enough. And maybe that's why this story resonates so strongly. Because stripped of celebrity and speculation, it echoes something deeply familiar. The feeling of being trapped by expectations. Of achieving things others applaud while quietly carrying the weight of responsibility. Of wanting rest, privacy, and presence, but being told it's not the right time. That you owe more? That stopping would be wasteful. And so you keep going, even when what you really want is to finally slow down. For many fans who buy into these theories, the most painful part isn't the industry pressure itself, it's the idea that she may not have had a real choice. The possibility that even someone with her level of influence could still feel boxed in, forced to project power while quietly mapping out an escape, is what truly unsettles people. Through that lens, the sky-high ticket prices and non-stop workload take on a different meaning. They don't look like excess. They look like urgency. Not ambition, but survival. The rumored concern for her son deepens that emotional weight. Motherhood is already complicated under normal circumstances. Add global fame, relentless scrutiny, and a schedule that barely allows for stillness, and something has to give. In this version of events, what she gave up was time, and the realization that time is the one thing money can't restore is what allegedly pushed her into such extreme decisions. Fans often point to moments in interviews where she spoke about her children with a noticeable tenderness, emphasizing protection, legacy, and what truly matters once the applause fades. To them, those weren't throwaway remarks. They were signals. And then there's Julius, whether by intention or coincidence, he became central to how people interpret everything. To some, he represents rare loyalty in an industry where support often comes with conditions. To others, he symbolizes the kind of human connection fame tends to erode. Even his silence fuels the narrative. No interviews. No explanations. No pushback. Just consistency. Just presence. And that one moment at the awards show that fans still can't let go of. None of this, of course, has been confirmed. There are no official statements, no clear documentation spelling it all out. But the reason these ideas persist is because they feel emotionally logical. They offer explanations for contradictions people sensed but couldn't quite name. They recast confusing business moves as preparation rather than greed. They turn an exhausting tour into a final obligation before reclaiming autonomy. Whether true or not, the story fans tell reveals as much about them as it does about her. It reflects a growing awareness that success doesn't always equal freedom, that applause can isolate just as much as it uplifts. And it shows how deeply people want to believe that choosing peace, health, and family, even at the peak of success, isn't weakness, but courage. So fans keep watching. They re-examine old footage. They scrutinize body language. They debate motives late into the night across forums and timelines. Not because they're chasing scandal, but because they're searching for meaning, proof of humanity beneath the spectacle. In their eyes, every costly ticket, every quiet investment, every guarded smile becomes part of a larger story, a woman allegedly trying to buy her way back to a life where she can finally breathe. That's why even the smallest details get magnified. Fans noticed the faint smile on Julius's face. Then a blind item began circulating, one that claimed industry insiders had been whispering for a while. According to that post, the reason he rushed after her at a major awards show wasn't random at all. The claim suggested she had threatened to leave the country more than once, fed up with control, pressure, and handlers making every decision for her. The post went on to allege that those around her feared she might leave without warning, not out of concern for her well-being, but because they stood to lose everything if she did. The blind item painted a grim picture, a star struggling emotionally, battling deep lows, while her team viewed her less as a person and more as an asset. It suggested years of control that might finally be slipping, hinting at rising tension with both her family and her marriage. Whether exaggerated or not, the post poured gasoline on an already burning conversation. That's why some people find it especially unsettling if her bodyguard truly spoke about something as private as her child's health. If that happened, fans wonder whether it points to a fracture behind the scenes, a fallout, a loss of trust, or something shifting within her inner circle. For now, everything remains speculation. But the conversation isn't slowing down. And as more pieces get debated and redebated, people keep listening closely, waiting for clarity. So what do you think about the claims surrounding her bodyguard and the rumors about Sir's health? Drop your thoughts below, and we'll see where the story goes next.